Hey, it's Domie! I love creating these little pop-up scenes of my favorite video games and media into empty cassette tapes. Okay, let's get started! I will be creating the very first level, Spring Breeze, from one of my favorite Kirby games, Kirby Superstar Ultra, from start to finish. I actually never grew up playing with the original Superstar until recently I obtained a Super Famicom and got to play the original Japanese copy. I'm biased, Superstar Ultra is my first ever DS game and I cherish the game to this very day. Such a beautiful game, I love it. First, I sketched out the title card and the boss of the level, Wispy Woods. I know it's not ideal to freehand letters one at a time for typography reasons, but I gotta do what I gotta do. As I traversed through the level, I included Waddle Doo, Brontobert, Chip, and that mushroom enemy Cappy to my scene. Those Cappy enemies can be really annoying, especially if I rush through the game. As you can see, I had to draw and paint all of these tiny elements that will eventually come together, one at a time. I start off with yellow for the majority of my underpaintings. Admittedly, I'm not the best planner when it comes to deciding what my color palette would be since I work as I go. I knew I would stick with warm analogous colors consisting of greens, yellows, oranges, and reds. I would do anything to paint that fast. Now, here's the tedious part. I had to cut out every single piece, and there are times that I will not use everything that I painted. I painted these orange flowers, but they were too large and their saturation will collide with the green hues, so I had to scrap those. I'm so sad, but it's all part of the editing process. I always make sure to paint everything in one go, so I don't have to bounce between the painting and cutting stages. After several hours of cutting in a span of a few days, I used crazy glue with a precision tip to cleanly glue my scenery together with my scary dentist tweezers. I feel like a surgeon with this tool. I previously used crazy glue with a paintbrush tip and I didn't like it because it was very messy and the cleanup was a pain. Also, I'm very guilty and this is my fault on my end. I sometimes didn't close the cap all the way and the glue would solidify into this goopy, squishy texture. I got very frustrated, so I ended up running to the store during this process to get the precision tip. Okay, I'm going to be very honest here. I planned this cassette to be closed, but my proportions of the pieces were too big to make it happen, so I have to consider that limitation next time. I always prefer an open cassette because I can add more details and really jam-pack every little element to give it that pizzazz I really like. So I'll experiment with closed cassettes in the future. On the side note, here's a little update. I originally started this channel making little animation shorts, and at the time, I realized how unrealistically ambitious I was. My current lifestyle and balancing responsibilities and relationships became unsustainable to make these animations. Over time, I grew unhappy and I realized that it was not for me. I struggled so much to figure out what kind of art that I actually enjoyed making, and it was a long process. It required me to take long breaks and to recall why I enjoyed making art in the first place. My relationship with social media a while back was beyond awful. and I did the right thing to shut it off completely until I was ready to post my art online. After making short form videos on both YouTube and TikTok, I learned once again that it was not what I had in mind. I didn't like it. I hate TikTok and I deleted that garbage app. Once I started making book art in little containers, playing with watercolor and exploring this medium, I felt so happy. I really enjoy making photo albums and scrapbooks as my creative fun hobbies. Art in general for me is not a relaxing hobby considering I treat it as a job and a skilled asset. I get way too frustrated over time. There was this revitalized energy that came back to me and I never looked back. I felt this excitement to share my art with the internet again, so I can't wait to make more. I'm really proud of myself for not giving up on art, and I want to continue bettering myself. After hours of gluing and fighting my glue, I love how everything came out. It was so worth it. If I had to critique myself, the green block should have more space between Kirby and the little star tunnel. It would make the cassette look a lot less cramped than it already is. And that's it, folks. Thanks for sticking around, and I can't wait to work on my next project. Follow me on my socials and I'll see you soon. Love, Domie.